Hey guys, this is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And, of course, live on the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. We are on the road to 500 subs here at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. We're at like 290 maybe right now. I don't have it in front of me. But yeah, so we want more than that, though. We want more subs. So if y'all can help us with that.
300 on the dot.
Great. Oh, we're at 300 now. Nice. Yeah. At 500 subs, if we hit
60% of the way there.
If we hit 500 subs, we will do our very first 24-hour stream. Of course, this will come after we filmed the Too Sweet video, which we still owe the good people.
Yeah.
So we're going to get that done too.
Do.
It's just it's hard these days, man. It's difficult. What were we supposed to do, like team up and put on masks?
Yeah.
I don't want to wear a mask in the Too Sweet video. That'd be lame, wouldn't it?
Well, we got to wait then.
Can we wait till there's like a vaccine? Anyways.
Might be waiting a while.
Let's just load up on Remdesivir.
I don't think that's over-the-counter type thing.
Remdesivir.
I don't think that's a preventative drug either. I think that's
not.
You take that to recuperate. Or
Can't we just, why don't they just give everybody the PC some, what do they call it stuff? Airborne? The little powder drink you mix in there.
Emergency?
You think? Yes, emergency. Did Ric Flair take any of that? He was there.
I don't think that's going to work. Gosh, why was he on Raw again?
Oh, well, my thing about him being on Raw. Okay, well here's my thoughts on that. This guy has already survived so much. I kind of feel like he's impervious to everything at this point, right? Like all the partying,
like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that definitely wasn't the case.
Yeah, but he got through it. He beat that.
I'm aware of that.
So I don't know, man. I kind of feel like, hey. Anyways, so yeah. Let me check real quick. I forgot if we have any new patrons, but we do have for our patrons, for our YouTube channel members, and of course for our Twitch subs. If you're an active sub, if you're a YouTube channel member, or if you're a patron at $5 a month and up, you get access to Friendo Club TV. Today, we power ranked 5 landing spots for Rey Mysterio. Of course, on our news episode today, we talked about the fact that he is evidently, according to, I believe, Dave Meltzer, is that right? Working for the WWE without a contract currently. So he theoretically on Wednesday could show up at Fyter Fest Night 2. Even though it's already been taped, he can still show up somehow. He probably won't. But yeah.
He could.
But he could. So yeah, we did that. It was a fun episode. Let's see here. Friday night we had Matthew Garrett join the Friendo Club, Jimmy Ward, and yeah, there you go. Thank you very much for your support. We appreciate it. And yeah, man, we've got 5 bonus episodes. Tomorrow we'll have Ask Steve and Larson. No wrestling questions allowed. Of course, also just today over at the Funhouse channel, our old friends from Funhouse invited us on for co-op adventures to play some Left 4 Dead 2, the Disney map that they have.
Yeah, Splash Mountain.
Splash Mountain, the Left 4 Dead 2 Splash Mountain modded map thing. That was a blast. So thanks to them.
That was awesome.
You can check that out
very much
right now. But let's hop into this episode of Raw. I'll leave it up to you, man. On the thumbnail, I decided to put that main event because I thought it was absolutely terrific.
Oh, the main event was tons. There's a lot to like on Raw. There's a lot of good stuff.
Am I tripping? Raw was really good tonight.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
As far as an empty arena episode goes.
Yeah, a lot of talk cover about that U.S. Championship. Let's get that out of the way first.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Let's get it done out of the way.
Okay.
So there's a lot of hope in my mind. I heard Eagle on it. In my head, that means I instantly go to one of the greatest wrestling belts of all time, the Winged Eagle WWF title.
Yeah.
Beautiful belt.
Beautiful.
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 Iconic. Beautiful.
Iconic. Beautiful.
Beautiful. So I thought, oh, maybe they'll harken back to that, an homage to one of the great belts in wrestling history. That's not what they did. This thing looks like a toy. It's not ugly per se. It's kind of, I don't know. It looks uninspired. It looks like a toy. From a design aspect, not great. But it's not like a complete and utter eyesore, especially like the well shot pictures of it. You can see there's some aspects of it to appreciate. It looks a lot like the WWF title or WWE title. They brought the with the unified belt.
Mm-hmm.
They had when The Rock beat CM Punk. That belt, some of the fonts, especially for championship or champion, look nearly identical. You know, when you get an image in your head of what you hope something will look like, and it's not that, it's hard not to be disappointed. That being said, this kind of is what it is. It's in line with the design aesthetic for the most part. WWE these days, something I'm not like super entirely into from like the belts design wise. But it's whatever. You know, it's not worth spending a half hour talking about.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't know which one I like. Yeah, I guess it sort of echoed some. I don't know. I kind of don't care. Like, I saw the Intercontinental Championship, like the new one, and I was like, I kind of like the old one. But then I never know. But the new one's a good looking title. It's actually a really good looking title.
It's not bad.
I just don't know like what is supposed to inspire the Intercontinental Championship. It's obvious what's supposed to inspire the United States Championship. The United States.
America.
Well,
what's supposed to inspire the Intercontinental title is North and South America. That's what's supposed to inspire it.
Yeah.
That's what that belt is.
Yeah.
It's the North America and South America combined championship. That's what it is.
That's what it's supposed to. But does anybody? Well, yeah, but here's the thing, though. Does anybody? I mean, I know that's what Intercontinental means. I guess.
Well, that's the history of the belt. That's what it's supposed to be.
Hold on a second. Yeah. Is the phrase Intercontinental? What is the etymology of that? What's the origins of that
I don't know.
phrase?
Well, inter means.
No. I mean, yeah. You're talking about the actual etymology. You're right. The origins of the phrase. Was that phrase used prior to the title being a thing?
Yeah, there's a hotel group called Intercontinental.
The Intercontinental.
Hotel
Okay. Okay. Cool. Right
on.
I
think it means something that spans more than one continent.
I have never heard it outside the context of the WWE. That's why I've never heard anybody refer to North and South America together as Intercontinental.
Well, you wouldn't, because it's relating or traveling between continents. So something between continents is an adjective.
Okay.
Something can't be, well, I guess something can be intercontinental, but it's not something where you describe North and South America as intercontinental.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about something relating to or traveling between North and South America, that could be intercontinental.
Okay. Yeah. So
for example, if you're traveling from North America and South America,
we're good.
You're an intercontinental traveler.
We're good. Sorry I even brought it up. That was a really bad idea on my part. I echo your sentiments on the title. I kind of don't care. It's not the greatest looking title in the world. I'll get used to it like I've gotten used to everything else that WWE has ever done. There you go.
I'll put, yeah, okay, yeah. I was gonna say, like,
you said you didn't want to talk an hour about.
No, and that's the last point I'll bring up, because you brought
Okay.
up the redesign of the Intercontinental title. When it comes to belts, for me, it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't design a new belt just for the sake of designing a new belt. I don't see the point of that. But if you're gonna do it, it's got to be an obvious upgrade.
I was just gonna say I was looking at like the now prior United States Championship, and I actually think that a lot of elements of that are really good. I've just always felt that the actual shape of the title, how it has that sharp V at the bottom, I've never liked that. I think it's too small, and I think that the back plate should be like jewels, but otherwise I think it's actually a pretty decent design.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, all the things, all your quibbles are relatively minor. I know, like the back plate with the red, white, and blue, that's like enamel rather than jewels.
Yeah, right.
I get that. Make it look, a little more prestigious, fancier.
Can I just say this though, man?
Put
honestly,
some pretty gems in it. What?
Dude, you go back and you look at the NWA US Heavyweight Championship. It's still a really gorgeous title.
Yeah,
it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
But what are they going to do? They're not going to go.
They got
use
this.
that.
They got this. The WWE's got this aesthetic that, while it's not uniform across all the belts, there's common design elements, kind of.
Yeah.
you could tell that maybe the same person designed all these belts.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess they're doing redesigns for uniformity. All right. But when you got a legacy title, especially something like the Intercontinental belt, and you have that the kind of most iconic design there, and you're using it, and it's great, and it's got the white strap on it, and it's different. And is, you know, it's existed not consistently in that form, but for a lot of its history, just stick with that. I think it looks great. New belt's fine. It's not an obvious upgrade over the previous Intercontinental title, and I think that's the same thing about this new U.S. title. It's not an obvious upgrade.
Heath Slater also returned for a day and looked great, looked amazing.
Yeah, he looked jacked, yeah.
He has referred on his social media to July 18th. Of course, that's probably the end of his no-compete clause with WWE. I would assume that that's
also a day of Slammiversary.
Okay, yeah. So it's I guess the first event that he plans on being at since his no compete clause runs out, I guess. So this seemed, he did an interview right after that was posted to like their Twitter and their .com, where he very legitimately seems like he got a little bit of closure from tonight, which I thought was really cool. He talked about it as, because it's really easy to take sort of the cynical viewpoint of, oh, you know, they brought him back, you know, he's still fired. They're just bringing him back for an angle. They talk about him being fired on, you know, as part of this one episode angle. And, you know, but, you know, he's a grown adult, and if he wanted to not do it, I'm sure maybe he could have not done it. I'm not really sure how contracts work and no compete clauses work, but I'm sure if he didn't want to do it, he probably wouldn't have done it. But he seemed really at peace with what happened tonight. I thought it was a very effective segment. I thought he looked great. He effectively got squashed by Drew McIntyre, but that's kind of to be expected.
Who isn't these days?
Pretty much, yeah. So I thought it was, you know, if it helped him find some peace with this whole thing, then I think that's good for him.
Yeah, and then the main event was awesome. Bayley and Sasha are kind of
they're the glue
in a
right
lot
now.
of ways. Yeah, they really are. They really are. They're holding a lot of stuff together, doing outstanding work. And that main event was tons of fun. Kind of just the right amount of overbooking. Nikki Cross was outstanding on commentary to begin, and then later on when she was behind the plexiglass, causing that distraction that eventually causes Bayley to lose. Just great stuff. Good storytelling, a lot of good stuff going on. But I can't really think of any. Like, MVP was great again tonight. All the stuff with Lashley was awesome.
Isn't it funny, dude, how like you can really feel a bad Raw. Like last week, it felt more than 3 hours. It really did. This week, again, it all sort of depends on the individual, I think. But everything seemed really well paced. It felt like nothing dragged. The only thing that I can think of that I felt dragged a little bit was Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens talking segments.
Yeah, but that's just Seth. Seth is kind of milks every second.
He meanders quite a bit. But nothing else really felt. And then there was a little bit more intrigue. There were some stories being pushed. There was MVP trying to recruit Cedric Alexander by saying, "Hey, you're Ricochet's sidekick." I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
Man, there was a lot to like about Raw tonight. There was a lot to like about it.
There was.
Although the one thing that cracks me up is that people have no idea how to refer to Extreme Rules these days. I heard at least
it's the horror show at Extreme Rules. That's why they bill it.
I heard 3 different ways people saying.
Although Dolph said the horror show Extreme Rules.
He called it that. Some people refer to it, I think, properly as, like you said, the horror show at Extreme Rules. And then there was one other way somebody put
There's probably someone said the Extreme Rules horror show, which is how they originally built it.
It was like horror show at the Extreme Rules or something like that. In the Extreme Rules. It was something weird like that. Interesting. So yeah, I don't know. It's such a gaudy logo too. You want to talk about bad design? The logo for the horror show.
Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, they got the Constructicons color scheme at least, so that's okay.
Yeah.
But then they shoehorn that horror show thing, and then they get the scream on the logo, and it's too much.
Fidelio. Yeah, I know. It's like bright. It's like non-color safe red almost, and then they got the Constructicon stuff. It's not great. Dude. Anyways, let's hop into this. let's hop into this Raw review. Before we do that, though, here's a word from the sponsor of today's show, Raycon. Larson, when you're sitting in front of your computer recording one of our shows or listening to some new dope jams, you actually want to listen to what you're listening to, or do you want to listen to whatever your kids or your wife are doing?
Well, let me tell you something, Steve. You know me. And when I'm working, I want to concentrate on what I'm doing. And if it means that means I need a great pair of earbuds to make sure I actually hear what I'm trying to do. But then I drop hundreds of dollars on a pair. Oh no. I checked out some wireless earbuds from Raycon. Raycon earbuds start at half the price of any other premium wireless earbuds on the market, and they sound just as great as the other top brands you know.
You're dropping a promo on me there, brother. Their newest model, the Everyday E25 earbuds, are their best ones yet, with 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a compact, comfortable design that gives you a great noise-isolating fit.
And unlike some of those other wireless options, Raycon earbuds are stylish and discreet. That means no dangling wires or stems that distract me while I'm working out, recording a podcast, working on my own jams, or listening to the freshest jams. You've probably seen celebrities like Snoop Dogg, Cardi B, J.R. Smith, and company co-founder Ray J wearing their Raycons. Now you can pick up a pair and see what the hype is all about.
Now's the time to get the latest and greatest from Raycon. Right now, get 15% off your order at buyraycon.com/raw. That's buyraycon, BUYRAYCON.com/raw for 15% off Raycon wireless earbuds. Buyraycon.com/raw. So Raw kicked off with a Drew McIntyre promo, and he was like, man, here's the deal. Pretty much any stipulation Dolph Ziggler picks is going to be to his advantage. He's like, let's just get this done with. Dolph, get out here. I want you to reveal a stipulation right now. And Dolph comes out and he's like, the stipulation is secret.
A secret.
A secret. He says, Drew, you made a mistake giving me my choice of stipulation, so I'm going to make you wait until Extreme Rules to unveil his choice. Larson, what do you think the stipulation is going to be?
I don't know, but that's smart to make Drew wait till the actual show to find out. That way, Drew can't prepare in advance.
What do you think the smartest stipulation would be? Is there any way he could literally turn it into like an amateur wrestling match with like, isn't there like points and stuff with that? Cal would know.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what he wanted to do. He could. Yeah.
Have
I
they?
I know.
They've done like wrestling match. They've like done like wrestling matches before, but not the kind where have they done the kind where there's like points and stuff and like actual shoot wrestling matches?
Maybe, I don't know. But even then, I know Dolph's an accomplished amateur wrestler was, but I mean, Drew is huge.
Yeah, he's a big guy,
massive.
It'd be really hard to do anything with that guy.
I know. Omega Advent has an idea. Best stipulation be that Drew can't use the Claymore.
Yeah.
He's got a Future Shock DDT, though. That can win matches for him.
Yeah, no Claymore. That's a good one. That's a good one. Blindfold match. Is there like a handcuffs match? You know, I learned about when I was researching the early ECW stuff for one of our next 10 for the wins. They had a body count match. And this was a match where I think both participants had like basically partners or like corner people, and to make sure they don't get involved, they would be placed in like little shark cages, right? But but if there isn't a winner in 15 minutes, like the cage explodes or something. It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Early 90s, like the NWA out there, they had some really weird things going on.
They're trying to do whatever they could to get people in the building.
We'll talk about that later.
Anyways. So Dolph goes on and on about like comparing resumes. Hey, Drew, on your resume between 2014 and 2017, there's not a whole lot because you got fired. And Drew says, yeah, I'm proud I got fired, because it made me recreate myself. I said, but don't you forget, Dolph, the man looking at you is the same one who beat Brock Lesnar in 5 minutes in main event at WrestleMania. Right after that, beat the Big Show. And Dolph says to Drew, there's a long list of people you stabbed in the back on your way back to the top, and I brought one of them here with me. Welcome, Heath Slater.
Yeah, they didn't. I wish they would have played his music. It was kind of sad without his music.
I'm a one-man band.
That'd have been great. But he came out very serious. He came out very serious. Yeah, this is very serious business.
So he says, Drew, I've known you more than a decade. Remember the first time you came to the States? Remember you were one of the first people to get called up to the main roster. You were the chosen one, but then you weren't. But now you are, and we all see that. He talks about watching Drew win at WrestleMania. Says he cried because he loves Drew. He says he called Drew every day back when he got released in 2014, and then asked Drew, "Where were you for me?" And he's like, "How long has it been since we've spoken?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, it was on the bump," which I don't know, when that was. I assume back in April before Mania. And it said that's the only place where he could go, Heath, and actually speak his mind. He says Drew knows his family, his 2 kids, and he says he wants to tell Drew that he was there for him, but Drew wasn't there for Heath. But he is on the unemployment line. He says the guy got kids, all that's real now. He's out of a job. He got fired. And Heath wants Drew to give him what he deserves. I guess back on the bump, Drew told Heath that he would get a match against him.
Yeah, I remember seeing video from that episode of the bump. I think it was only like days before the releases.
Oh, he got released?
Were announced. I think it was just like days before. And it was like they were both literally like it felt like it seemed like they were in tears because they were like, it was very heartfelt. It had to be over Zoom because like pandemic and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good little bit of good little moment there.
Good moment. So Drew's like, I don't want to fight you, but he didn't have the mic to his mouth. You just kind of hear him mumble it, and he says, "Oh, you don't want to fight me?" He pushes him, and Drew, turns back to him, about to say something. He slaps him. And Drew goes, "Okay, you're on. You got your fight." Go to commercial. We come back. Match is happening. So Dolph hops on the apron to distract Drew. Heath lands a couple shots. He walks away, takes the shirt off, turns around, bang, Claymore. Drew wins.
Yeah, pretty.
So Drew's upset. He leaves the ring. He's upset that he had to Claymore his friend. Dolph gets in the ring, gives Heath a bunch of crap. Heath pushes him. Dolph gets up, takes him down, some ground and pound. Drew comes back to the ring. Dolph flees. Drew helps up Heath. They hug, have a nice moment. It was all pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. And Heath Slater looked like $1,000,000. I mentioned this on Twitter, man. April was, like 3 months ago now, huh? Yeah. They should really rotate off seasons for their wrestlers. Like
totally.
Months. You know what I mean? Like guy goes away, rests up, heals up, gets jacked. He looked in the best shape I've ever seen him in. Like, I know a lot of people when he left, it was like, oh man, he's going to go away for a couple of years. He's going to get jacked, make a name. I was like, that's not going to happen. I kind of believe that's possible now, to be honest with you. He's always been good on the mic. He's got great comedic timing.
He does.
And like, this is the kind of thing tonight that I was like, holy crap. I mean, when he was doing his confrontation with Brock Lesnar was such a cool moment for Heath Slater. And it sort of had you believing, man, if they really invested in him, they could turn him into something that could be really, really cool. I don't know what the ceiling would be necessarily, but yeah, I feel like that guy had a lot of talent. I mean, honestly, that's like half the people or more than half the people in WWE, like 99% of them, they have like a ton of talent, and they just don't have a spot for them, don't know what to do with them. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, after that, we had an interview with Bayley and Sasha. Charlie comes up to them while they're preparing for Bayley's match tonight against Asuka. Sarah. Never mind. Sorry. Thought it was Charlie. It was Sarah. Anyways, she's like, why should we talk to you when we can go talk to the world? They leave. Asuka enters. Oh, that was later on. Charlie was later on. Asuka enters, and she's asked how she plans on handling Sasha and Bayley because she's all alone. And she's like, who says I'm all alone? And then she dances off frame. So, yeah, good stuff. After that, we had a Sasha and Bayley promo. And Bayley's like, now Raw can begin. I really wish they had mentioned the fact that they were such a huge draw on SmackDown. And the ratings plummeted when they were off the screen. But anyways, Sasha says they're changing the game again. They're going to be running this place or whatever. Asuka interrupts as they're not ready for Asuka, and she brings out the returning Kyrie Sane. We haven't seen her since Nia Jax busted her open in that one match of theirs.
Yep. And so then we get Kyrie versus Sasha Banks. Didn't get a real finish on this one because Bayley interfered. It was pretty fun while it lasted, though. So what happened is Kyrie has Sasha in the anchor, and then Bayley runs in, breaks it up. Kyrie wins by DQ. Asuka runs in. Brawl breaks out. Sasha and Bayley isolate Asuka ringside, and then Kyrie gets to the top rope. Bang.
That was
insane
rad.
elbow.
That was so
on
cool.
Sasha and Bayley.
Yeah,
it was pretty great.
That was really, really cool. After after that, man, what's going on with Aleister Black, Larson? That's like my question of the week every single week. This dude gets beat down. Go ahead.
So at first, so the scene is backstage, by some production equipment or something, and Murphy's there, and there's a person on the ground with a Mysterio mask on. The first thing I hear is Byron Saxton saying, "Is that Aleister Black?" But you can't see anything other than the mask. The mask is brightly colored.
I was like, why does that look like it's
No,
not...
Byron, that's Rey Mysterio. They beat him up. And it wasn't until the mask got taken off, I was like, oh, Byron is right.
yeah, I did. I laughed. I laughed out loud when I was like, why does Rey Mysterio look weird? Because all you can see is the mask. I was like,
I know.
His face looks weird. And then Byron says that. I started laughing. And I honestly just was like, Aleister looks like an asshole right now. He looks like an idiot. Why is he still bothering with this stuff? They make him look like a fool. They beat him up off camera, put the mask on him. I'd be done. I'd be done. And
it's like, I want to go
later
beat Tommy
on,
End in AEW.
I was so annoyed later on, when he comes out to try to help with that Rey Mysterio thing, and Seth kneels down and gets in front of him and is telling him, hey, if you hit me, this match is over. What the hell would Aleister Black care? Like, I would be like, I don't care.
Should have kicked him in the head.
I'd be like, that's a YP, not an MP. My problem right now is I'm going to kick your ass because you beat me up backstage, and he should do that. I hate when baby faces have to like obey the rules. It makes them just come off like pushovers. It's the worst.
Yep, it is the worst. That's why I like Drew, because he didn't really care about that most of the time.
I know.
If he thinks he can get something out of Claymore and somebody, that person's getting Claymore.
If he's exactly, yeah. Boy.
Yeah. So next we saw a quick bit of the Viking Raiders backstage.
Like
Hanson has a bowling ball.
Sorry, I don't mean, I'm going to harp on this a little bit. I don't like to harp, but I'm going to harp. Like, somebody logically storyline should be asking, okay, so Aleister Black goes out there because he's been beaten up. Why would he not? Seth gets in front of him. Oh, yeah, because Aleister doesn't want Ray to lose this match. The hell does he care?
Well, I guess if he cares about Ray getting the opportunity to pick a stipulation, because the winner of that match got to pick the stipulation.
Yeah, I know, but God.
But I don't know if Aleister was privy to that conversation because he was beat up backstage.
That's not a leap in logic. Really. That actually kind of makes sense. And you could have had, like, who ended up winning that match? Didn't
Ray did.
Oh, Ray ended up winning the match?
Yeah. So now he gets to pick stipulation.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And everybody's shocked that he would
was
pick
funny.
such a crazy stipulation. Like Seth was shocked.
Kevin Owens' face was the best. That's what I had on the thumbnail there before. Yeah, I don't know, man. I thought that was just bad storytelling because logically, like, I understand he's such, like, I guess he's such in reverence to Rey Mysterio, but even that's never really been explained. Like, why, if it's Humberto,
it makes you believe it.
If it's Humberto, I'd understand it. He's his boyhood hero. But Aleister Black, what the hell should he care?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So we see the Viking Raiders backstage. Hanson's holding the bowling ball. Well, Big Show walks up. Rose explains to him that Hanson is going to show how to correctly slide down a bowling alley with the bowling ball. And then, well, Big Show says, hey, I like to have fun, but we've got to prepare for our match. We're going to be standing across the ring from Randy Orton, so we got to be serious. And the Raiders talked about, Edge and Christian, we understood they were your friends, but they were our heroes. And by the way, we have our own 5-second pose, and they're about to do it. And then Big Show slaps Ray Rowe first. Slap.
Yeah.
And then Hanson, even then, it's not taking it seriously. He gets slapped.
It was they were loving chops to the chest, but they had shirts on. Yeah.
And so Hanson, he gets upset. And then I think Ray Rowe says something like, hey, don't let our Viking ways fool you. When we get to the ring, we're going to throw down and be serious.
Yeah.
So that's what to expect. So next we had Kevin Owens show with Seth Rollins. Owens gets in the ring and immediately he tosses all the chairs out and he says, given my history of Seth Rollins, Might as well do this now. He introduces Seth by calling him a pretty giant piece of trash. But you may know him as the Monday Night Messiah. Here's Seth Rollins. And Seth comes out and says, I don't know why you did all that, Kevin. I just want to come out here and say thank you. Asks how Owen's broken ankle is doing. Owen says it's fine. It feels better than Seth's ego. Because since Mania, things have not been going well for Seth Rollins. And Owen says, here's the thing. When you face off with someone at WrestleMania, there's a bond formed because that's a moment. And there's like a lifelong bond between your Mania opponents. And to commemorate the occasion, their WrestleMania moment, Owen says, I got you a gift, Seth. Throws him something. It's the KO Mania shirt. He said, the one like he wore at WrestleMania. Seth says, oh, I appreciate the shirt. And just tosses it aside, I think, to Buddy.
He said, that's good. He said, that's good. Give it to your buddy.
Yeah. He said, I see what you're trying to do. But Seth says, I don't give a damn about you, your shirt, or your show. I came to Kevin Owens' show to address the medically cleared Rey Mysterio, and he wants to challenge Rey to a match at Extreme Rules because they have unfinished business. He wants to make Rey a permanent sacrifice for Raw. And then Seth mentions how Owens sacrificed himself, the broken ankle, to win at Mania, and thinks things haven't been going so good for Owens since then, while Seth has risen to prominence. So maybe Owens needs Seth more than he thinks. Maybe Owens will consider he'd get more out of fighting with Seth rather than against him. He makes his pitch to Owens. Looks like Kevin is pondering it, and then Rey and Dominic show up on the ramp.
Yeah, so Rey asks Seth if he really believes that Kevin's going to fall for his BS. He says no. He says, but yes to his challenge. He says at Extreme Rules, Seth's destiny will be in Rey's hands. Seth's excited. He's like, hey, Rey, we were supposed to have a tag match, but Aleister Black is all beat up. Do you want to have a handicap match instead? I'll take your other eye out. Or maybe Seth will take, or he says, like, maybe I'll take Dom's eye. And Owens is like, hey, Seth, here's the deal. I'm never going to fight with you, but I'll take Aleister's spot. And how about this? The winner of this tag match gets to pick the stipulation at Extreme Rules. And then everybody agrees, and Buddy Murphy attacks Owens. The faces clear the ring. Owens throws the Kevin Owens show sign at Seth. And then we get that match, Kevin Owens and Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, with Dominic lurking at ringside. And it was a fun enough match. I like when Seth got up in, I thought it was an effective moment. Seth got in Dominic's face, and Dominic didn't really have to respond. So Seth just like poked his eye. He was like, maybe I'll take your eye. Yeah. That was a good little moment. Yeah,
he gets in his face and it's like, why don't you let me pick the stipulation? And Dom's like, why would I do that? Poke him right in the eye. We go to commercial. We come back. Seth's going after Owens' leg. But in the end, though, where is it here? So we come back from commercial. Seth is going after Owens' leg. Seth goes for a springboard knee. Owens evades that. His super kick. He gets the tag to Rey. Buddy is into. Rey is taking it to Buddy. He sets him up for 619. Seth tries to intercept. He gets set up for 619 as well. As Rey is approaching, Seth rolls out of the ring. He grabs Dom. He's like threatening him as he backs away. Then Aleister hits the ramp. So Dom escapes. Seth just, gets on his knees and
he's like basically begging Aleister Black to hit him so that he'll win the match. Yeah. Meanwhile, totally. Dom rakes Buddy's eyes when the ref's not paying attention, which allows Rey to hit the 619, a frog splash, and gets the win. Rey grabs the mic and says he's got a stipulation, ojo por ojo, which means eye for an eye. He said, I'm going to take your eye out with my bare hands. Yeah. And Seth looks horrified. Kevin Owens looks horrified. It's really good stuff.
It's pretty good. Next, we had a MVP Bob Lashley interview. Charlie says that Apollo's out of action. And Lashley interrupts, says he broke Apollo Crews and only a matter of time before Cruz's reign ends. And then MVP kind of insinuates that he's going to show off a new belt, and then says the future of the U.S. title is baller.
Yeah, so MVP, then him and Lashley come to the ring. They've got the little table set up with the title with inside the cloth,
under the cloth, over the cloth, yeah.
So he announces that it's not going to be Lashley at Extreme Rules versus Apollo Crews. It's going to be MVP versus Apollo Crews at Extreme Rules, which hopefully should set up Apollo Crews versus Lashley for SummerSlam, I would think.
I would think so, yeah.
You would think. Yeah, he talks again about Apollo disrespecting him when he tried to recruit him. He said even after Cruz said no to him, he said he was disrespecting me, also disrespecting Lashley. And then he prepared to unveil a new title. He says, I beat Cruz, so I'm basically the new U.S. champ anyways. And when I beat him for the title, my reign will be impressive as the first two. He unveils the title, and he said, I can't wait to beat Cruz at Horror Show at the Extreme Rules or whatever to become champion. And Lashley's like, no. Hey, man, it's all good. It's a formality at this point. You're the new U.S. champion. And so he just gives MVP the title. Out come Ricochet and Lashley, and they're like, hey, our friend is gone, but we have his back. Ricochet says MVP considers himself a businessman, but he's about to lose some stacks because Cruz is going to be back real soon. But right now, they're going to make the Hurt Business file for Chapter 11. That's bankruptcy. And then Cedric and Ricochet hit the ring. They brawl, and they send Lashley and MVP out of the ring, which leads to an impromptu tag match. MVP wrestled this in his business attire. He did. It didn't preclude him from coming out in the winning end either, because Bob Lashley hit Cedric Alexander with a ferocious spear. Yeah. I wish this match had a bit more Bob Lashley in it, because I feel like he could have continued. We saw a bit of this, what he did last week against Ricochet, where he was just throwing Ricochet around the ring a bunch. It'd been nice to get more of that, but we got a little bit at the end between that suplex on Cedric, the spear, and then putting Cedric in the full Nelson after the match. Why is Ricochet still wearing the thigh tape? I think he's been wearing it since the Brock match, dude. I think so. If it's still bothering him, that's 5 months ago. He should probably get that looked at. You'd think. Yeah. It's not good. Anyways, Ricochet hits a missile drop kick. Lashley breaks the full Nelson, but he gets right back up. He's going after Ricochet. Ricochet and Cedric take their leave up the ramp. Yeah, Lashley's doing, he's got this really cool way of that they've really been playing up of unleashing this beast mode thing. That spear that he dropped was something else, man. And his I don't know, the ferociousness, the ferocity. It was ferocious. It was ferocious. Awesome. It's really cool. Anyways, Andrade, doing awesome work, man. This segment kind of bugged me too. Andrade and Angel Garza and Zelina Vega are backstage. She's chatting him up, saying, she wants to talk. Andrade doesn't want to. He's sick of it. Ric Flair enters. Everybody's too close to him. They're all just talking in his mouth and stuff. And he's like, you guys are all great. You achieved everything you wanted to do except beat the Big Show last week. Flair says it's a must-win tonight. If not, they'll have to answer to Randy Orton. They've done such a magnificent job of making everybody terrified of Randy Orton. He comes in, he's like, Andrade, you're a third generation, right? Garza, you're a third generation, right? He's like, yeah, okay, let's do this. But, he's like, we all have this in common. But, if you guys screw up out there, I will have no problem introducing you to the Legend Killer. Yeah. So, the only thing that really bugged me about that, it didn't really bug me. Randy Orton's terrifying. He really is. Oh, absolutely. I just don't like Andrade, who already has a pretty decent history in the WWE. All of a sudden, they're kind of chumping him out, man. Yeah, no. I don't get it. He should step up to Randy Orton and be like, hey, dude, you're old. I'm not. There's two of us. There's one of you. Don't be threatening me. Yeah. But whatever. Next, Asuka and Kyrie have an interview. Asuka's asked her thoughts on Sasha and Bayley's claim that they're the dominant force in women's division. She says after she beats Bayley tonight, they're going to challenge Bayley and Sasha for the tag titles. And then Kyrie gets her recorder and plays their theme song. Yeah, that was rad. That was great. That was pretty cool. After that, we had that 6-man tag Big Show and the Viking Raiders versus Andrade, Garza, and Orton. My favorite part of this match is when Orton went up to Angel Garza, got in his face and started saying, did he drop the F-bomb and they bleeped it out? No, he said, get your ass out here. So he's on the apron and Garza is was he acting a fool? Is Andrade, or he's giving Andrade crap.
And so Randy says, "Get your ass out here," and says, "Hey, you know, we both grew up in this business. I like you for that. But essentially, if you don't get your mind right, I'm going to kill you and bury you." Essentially,
I thought he said something like, "I will do something in fucking seconds," and I swear they just like made it really silent. Oh, okay. So Guy Dude 5 says he dropped it, but he censored himself. So that's entirely possible. Yeah, he said something like, "I won't effing hesitate." Night by Night said that. And I was like, they either dropped his audio completely or I guess, yeah, he might have self-censored himself. I don't know. I thought that it was an amazing moment, and it was
great.
Terrifying.
It was horrified.
And so awkward. Yeah.
Because he pushed him against the barricade and grabs him by the throat.
And it was like everybody was staring in disbelief that was happening. Oh, that was good stuff. That was really good stuff.
And then it worked, though. That's the thing. It worked. It worked. They won.
Yeah, they ended up winning.
Andrade and Garza, they started working together. They stopped, like getting on each other, arguing about petty stuff. It worked. They won.
Yeah.
It turns out that just took an RKO from Orton on Ray Rowe. They got the win.
At one point, he tried to get one to the Big Show, but the Big Show shoved him off, and Orton was like, "Oh, just this close." It was good stuff. After that, we had an Iconics promo. Peyton, did we talk about their backstage bit? Or was that later?
This is their backstage bit.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought promo meant. Never mind. So, yeah, they were both backstage. Peyton's excited to see Billy beat up Ruby Riott. Billy, she's so great. She's so great. She's like, she's got no style and no friends. Peyton mentioned that Liv isn't returning her calls. They dub her a loser. Ruby Riott walks up to them, calls them jackasses. She was like, "Hey, I've never had a problem with you guys before, but I do now." She's like, "My focus isn't on Liv. It's on you two." I do appreciate that she took the L last week, and yet she still has the swagger to come up to them and dishes out some more shit talk. Yes. So anyways,
she leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as they leave, camera pans over. MVP and Cedric are chatting by that ring they have backstage somewhere, and MVP is pitching Cedric to join Hurt Business. So he tells Cedric it takes a lot of heart to step up to him and Lashley. So I've always been impressed by you, but you're holding yourself back. And why is he just content to be Ricochet's sidekick?
Cedric did not like that.
Yeah, he says, "I see what you're trying to do, MVP. It's always this divide and conquer thing." And MVP says, "Well, if you and Ricochet are equals, then why does Ricochet have a 365 documentary and you don't?"
Ooh.
And then MVP says he and Lashley are in the Hurt Business, but Cedric is in the catering business because that's where he's going to sit while everyone else is more successful.
It's rough.
That was great.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good stuff.
All right, this I understand this thing is for last, but this is still kind of somewhat confusing. So you get, and I missed the first bit of it, what the conversation between Ric Flair and R-Truth. So there's some sort of back and forth between them. Orton shows up, and Truth tells Flair.
So it's Orton and Flair are talking. R-Truth he's running from Tozawa, and he runs into Orton. And so Orton's like, "What the heck's your problem, Truth?" And Truth is like, "Hey guys," and he looks over at Flair, and he's like, "Man, for being the dirtiest player in the game, you sure do clean up nice." Yeah. And then he's like, "Too nice. You're another Tozawa." And then he hears Tozawa in the background chasing him, and he's like, "Two Tozawas." So he runs off sort of behind where Orton and Flair were, and then Tozawa and his ninjas show up, and they're freaked out by Randy Orton. Everybody's freaked out by Randy Orton. And he's like, "You want to know where R-Truth is?" He was like, "Yeah." And he was like, he went that way, pointing in the opposite direction. So they take off. Have no idea where that's headed. Any ideas?
No, but they're showing some humanity to Randy Orton, and it's not what I want from him right now. Don't want that.
Oh, I like it. It's dimension. That's the creepiest bad guy, is the nice bad guys. I don't necessarily think it's humanity. I think it's even creepier than that. It's him enjoying manipulating the process.
Well, I guess we'll see where it plays out.
They'll probably just drop it.
Totally. That's the other thing. If it's something that's just dropping, it's like, all right, well, what was the point of that? Because it's gonna be like, oh, look, Randy's not that bad. Like a situation where he's being manipulated.
Oh, I don't think it's that.
Where it leads to him being even more of a turd. Fine. More of a reason for everybody to be scared of him. Fine. But if it's a situation where it's like, oh, I just like R-Truth.
See, I think, no, man, this is just my preference is the bad guy who does nice things sometimes, they're the most terrifying because that's unpredictable. You have no idea. Like that's just a fully developed character right there. It's like, oh, well, he has no problem with R-Truth. He'll help him out this time. But he might RKO him.
Is Orton decide that Truth is a legend, give him the legend title, RKO's him, and he's 24/7 champ.
Well, no, dude, it actually kind of fits in. It kind of fits in with his character. Because what does he do after he's punted somebody?
No, he's always apologized. He's always contrite about it. I understand that.
He doesn't. He doesn't like being that guy. It's just necessary.
He doesn't like being that guy to people he's friends with, because we've seen him with Edge, history with him, Christian, history with him, and they've tried to make the point of that he and Show friendly. Go back. You know, they've been in the company for 20 years. So that I understand why he'd have that sense of conflict. But as far as I'm aware, there's been no relationship established between him and R-Truth. And so I understand him being
everybody
contrite.
likes R-Truth, man.
No, I understand. I don't understand why. I love R-Truth. But we haven't given, without that lack of history, I don't know why he would be doing it. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
I just don't know why.
I like it. I
understand why he'd feel contrite about doing it to his friends. I get that.
Yeah. After that, we had... What's that?
Ruby Riot versus Billy Kay was next.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty short match, too.
Yes.
Yeah, Billy Kay just picked up a win with... I mean, there was a distraction there from Peyton Roy. She got on the apron. Billy basically slaps or punches or rams her fist into Ruby's throat. She gets a eat defeat off the top rope. Finisher for the win. So yeah, Ruby Riot's left laying again. Apparently she gave an interview on Raw Talk afterwards. Some people here in chat were saying it was a pretty decent babyface interview. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Next, Sasha and Bayley interview. They say the stakes are higher after Asuka's. They're asked, sorry. Are stakes higher for this match after Asuka's tag title challenge? Bayley says Asuka will be lucky that she doesn't slap her green face paint back to last Monday, much less having to worry about next Monday. And then Sasha says, "Well, you know what? Yeah, we'll accept Asuka's challenge." And Bayley's like, "What?" And Sasha says, "There's no team on any brand that could touch us. Let's show it." And Bayley goes, "Yeah, you're right. And now it's time for me to show everyone who's the best champ at WWE. Oh yeah, that's me." And that's what I'm going to go do.
I appreciate that
we have our main event.
These two people have the worst communication skills with each other. Of it, like they always volunteer for matches. They never commiserate. They never talk about this beforehand. They're not like, hey, Asuka called us out. Here comes Charlie with a mic. We're going to talk about this? There's none of that.
No, I don't think any communication happens between any wrestlers unless the camera's rolling.
That is a convention of wrestling. You're right, totally. Yeah, all of wrestling. None of wrestling would actually happen if people communicated without cameras around.
Yep.
And then we had our main event, Bayley versus Asuka. Holy crap, this was so good. Nikki Cross came to commentary. Security was trying to get her to leave. She was holding on to Joe the whole time, and Joe looked like he wanted to laugh the entire time. It was so good. Nikki Cross, it's so funny, man. Nikki Cross has had such like an oddly organic transformation from like what we saw in NXT to what we see now. Like it has been a step-by-step transformation that has felt very natural.
It has, and it's added a lot of dimension to her character because that Nikki Cross we saw in NXT is still there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally, yeah. And she's even kayfabe before. She's even talked about it before.
Yeah. When something gets her angry, that old Nikki Cross is still there, as we saw tonight when Bayley gave her the business. So she's on commentary. You went through all that. Sasha throws her glasses at her as they walk out, and she just about loses it. Just about flies off the handle. It wasn't until later that she actually did.
Yeah.
So early on, Bayley has the upper hand. Then she comes over and Nikki knocks the headset off her, and that's when Nikki goes bonkers. She just goes crazy.
Yeah.
Wants to get after her. Security runs in, keeps her back, keeps her from attacking Bayley, and then they take her out to the ringside area. Bayley turns around, gets obliterated by a knee from Asuka, and she just like crumples to the ground. It was great. There's a couple stiff shots that looked like Bayley took. That back fist later on was nasty.
So I saw this from
Tom.
Tom.
They hit her in the temple.
I saw this from Tom Collahue. Number one, Asuka's reaction to that disturbed me because like she looked genuine, like actually concerned for Bayley. According to Tom Collieu, he said that he felt that there was an edit there.
Yes, I saw that too. Yeah,
that Bayley. I didn't pay attention close enough to see if that was the case or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't notice the. I just saw the.
If that was just an educated guess on his part, or if he knew something, but yeah, she might have taken a minute to like gather herself because that looked stiff.
It looked like she took it right at the temple.
Yeah, and then they replayed it, and like I only saw the one replay from behind where her head like jerked back. But man, that looked bad, and Asuka's reaction was like, "Whoa, that was not good."
I know.
But Bayley, she carried on. In the end, it was a total overbook finish. There was a distraction from Nikki Cross. She was behind the. She was out in the crowd, banging on the hockey glass there, the plexiglass. Yeah. And that led to, let's see here, the finish.
So Sasha goes there, gets a bottle of water for Bayley. She takes a drink, dumps some on Asuka, and that's when Nikki shows up behind the barricade, banging on the glass. That freaks Bayley out. She backs right into the Asuka lock.
Yeah.
So Asuka brings her back in the ring, but Asuka can't sink it in all the way. Bayley tries to roll her up, doesn't work. Kyrie runs in, spears Sasha, so she can't interfere. And then Asuka eventually rolls up Bayley to get the win.
Before we get to questions, let me ask you something real quick. Right. What would the crowd reaction be to Bayley and Sasha at this point?
Oh, they'd be eating it up, man.
They'd be eating it up, right?
They've been so good.
It'd be hard to keep them as bad guys at this point. And that's kind of the interesting thing about not having a crowd is the WWE, sometimes they really don't like to, and the biggest case of that is probably Roman Reigns, but they will listen to the crowd sometimes. I mean, they did that with Becky, where, you know, the crowd will start getting into something, and it's like, okay, well, are they going to have to turn them? What's the situation with that? Is there going to be like a change in plans? They don't have the benefit of that crowd reaction these days. I mean, I suppose they could look at the ratings and say, hey, they're doing really good work, maybe. But I just don't know that there's any like heel team that could sort of facilitate that turn. You know what I mean? Like the Iconics have not been booked to pose any threat to them. I don't see Nikki and Alexa like being a heel type threat for them. I think they're just going to keep on rolling. They'll probably just end up breaking up Sasha and Bayley for SummerSlam. But man, they're doing such amazing work. I kind of just want them.
Really good work.
I wouldn't mind if they push that whole thing. Like, I don't need that match at SummerSlam. Give it to me at the Rumble, you know, or even push it all the way to Mania. That could be really good. It was also announced earlier on. I think maybe we mentioned this. Getting a tag match next week for Bayley and Sasha versus Asuka and Kyrie Sane.
Yes. All right, you want to do questions?
Yeah, I've got a thread on the Patreon, patreon.com/Steve and Larson. $1 a month. You can get access to the thread.
I'll be here on the Twitch. Boo Boo Reload, I think the name is.
Okay.
In NXT, so Cassius Ohno had a British rounds match, points, rounds, etc.
Oh,
that was all worked. It'd be great if it was all shoot style.
Well, I think he's referring to my question about the wrestling.
Yes, I know what he's referring to. I'm just saying it would be great if it was a shoot wrestling match with points and pins and stuff like that. That'd be fun.
What was that match? Was that Sid Scala? Versus Cassius Ohno?
Cassius Ohno, yeah. That was a really good match too.
Yeah, that was a fun match. Alex, if that was a shoot though, Cassius Ohno would destroy Sid Scala. He's tiny. Alex Foster, what stipulation would you pick for a match against a wrestler? He said, keep in mind, it'll probably backfire.
Is there a situation where you can, like, say I'm facing Drew McIntyre. Is there something you could do to, like, incapacitate him to such an extent that he really can't use his arms and legs? Or at least tie his feet together so he can't claymore me.
Would it even the odds if you both got hepped up on, like, mescaline or something?
No, I'd just be freaking out that I was seeing shit.
But so would he.
Yeah, but he's still taller and stronger and all that stuff. So if he's freaking out and, you know, like wailing away, you know, crazily because there's some, you know, 10-foot tall coyote talking to him, I stand little chance.
I guess it would just depend on what sort of like the demons in your head, you know, that are ready to be unleashed once you try a hallucinogen or something.
Mm-hmm. Sure, I'm sure it would be pretty for me.
Xavier Gray. Sorry, go ahead. It's your turn.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Xavier Gray. Why is Bruce Pritchard treating Asuka's character like she's I don't get the point of this question. I think he's asking, why is she being booked weak when we just saw her spray the green mist on Sasha Banks last Wednesday on NXT? Maybe he means... I'm not really sure the premise of the question, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Not sure.
Okay, wait a second. Maybe... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the premise of the question. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I'm just trying to do something mentions. Ironically, Jinder Mahal got his kayfabe job back by pinning Heath.
There you go. Yeah, they totally would have roped in Jinder if he was not injured.
Oh, heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
That'd been great. I'll say this name. I think it's Acoke or something like that. Alistair should have black masked Seth the second the bell rang instead of Owens throwing Seth into the boards. Agreed.
Yeah.
As soon as that bell rang.
I mean, if that was going to be the line of logic right there, yeah. Stevie Bradley's doppelganger asks, which is worse, Drew losing the WWE Championship before the end of No Crowds era, or Strowman keeping the Universal Championship until then? The worst thing would be Drew losing it before.
Yeah.
Gareth
Nicholas, Alistair Black, missed orientation, and the run-in rule book.
I feel like he doesn't know how pro wrestling works, man.
Mm-hmm.
I get that idea. Gamer Realm, hey guys, I got my Friendo merch today. Thanks a lot. As for my question, cool. Do you think Bobby Lashley will attempt again at Drew for the championship, or will he try to find a way to face Braun in some sort of brand
He's going to be. I feel like he's going to be U.S. champion sometime soon.
I think you're right about that, and I really hope that they continue to book him like he's a monster. So, like, maybe by Mania, like if they book him correctly at Mania, you could have a title switch at Mania. I'd be total if they, especially if they had crowds of any kind. God, even if it's in a VFW or in like an outdoor location.
Have it on Venice Beach. It's supposed to be in LA next year, so
perfect.
Dang MQ says Cedric had a BLM armband.
I saw that. Yeah, that was cool. Very prominently displayed too. Let's see here. Sleazy Mo. Name 2 people who Rey Mysterio should have a mascaras versus hair match with. One person who should take Andrade out of it. One person who should beat Rey, and someone who should lose to Rey.
Dominic. Have one against Dominic. Dominic wins.
Dominic wins. That's good. And
he wins the mascaras.
And then, you know what? I want to see Seth sans pelo. So I want to see Seth loses to Rey, and it's a hair versus mask match. That should be like their SummerSlam match.
That's good. Gareth Nicholas, the fact that Orton is willing to get mixed up in the 24/7 picture right now makes it seem like he's really motivated. And that's cool. I know he is super motivated.
You know, no, that's actually... So that, and also his behavior during that entire tag match, he was involved in every single thing that was going on. And it really did come off like the dude's motivated.
He's enjoying what he's doing right now.
James Rodriguez, Rey Mysterio, Seth Rollins, and Ricochet, and Johnny Gargano are all known for wrestling comic book inspired gear at major events. I'm sorry, for wearing comic book inspired gear at major events. Who do you think is the biggest comic book geek? I think it's Gargano.
Yeah, it seems that way.
He tweets about like really nerdy stuff a lot. I get the feeling it's him. I think Seth is more of a casual fan, and I would suspect Ricochet is too.
Yeah. Rand Wildman really wish we gotten to see Peyton's new Brainbuster again tonight. That move was something else, man.
I know. Boy, that was something else.
This is an interesting question from Fear and Loathing. As much as Kevin Owens hates Seth, you think he would have teamed with Rey if he knew the match stipulation Rey would pick?
Wait, what now?
Do you think Kevin Owens, if he had known the stipulation that Rey was going to pick,
if he knew it was so extreme like that?
Yeah.
he would have had to have been talked into it.
Yes.
He'd have been like, I don't know, man. That's a lot, don't you think? Take a guy's eye out with your bare hands. Dog Authority figure. So with MVP debuting a new U.S. belt, are they setting up a ladder match with both belts hanging over the ring?
Oh, that'd be cool. Ryan K. Lamb. So has the short Pritchard era Raw been more entertaining than what Heyman was doing for almost a year? It's more consistent. I feel like it's been more consistent. Like the good Heyman Raws are pretty good, but there were some bad Raws.
It's also less,
bad Raws.
Dude, it's less repetitious. I mean, I'm not going to say every episode of Raw is great or anything. Like, having no fans there kind of sucks. But, like, I feel like stuff moves. It just moves better.
Yeah. I'm just trying to do something. Asked, does Seth have the most nicknames in wrestling? If not, who does?
So Seth has the Architect,
Monday Night Messiah, the King Slayer.
These days, Sasha, she calls herself a lot of stuff. The Blueprint, the Conversation, the Boss, Legit Boss.
I feel like Hogan's had a lot of nicknames.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels. He was the showstopper, the icon, the main event, Mr. WrestleMania.
Yeah. Yeah, Seth is up there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, HBK's up there, yeah. The Dead Man. That's it.
Die Hard Homer. Yeah, one. Die Hard Homer. The NWO formed 24 years ago today. Who would be the mystery third man today, and who would be the backup plan?
Who's the third man, brother?
I mean, if you're gonna have the same shock factor as Hogan turning heel, it's John Cena.
John Cena
turning heel.
That's totally the answer. John Cena.
And the backup plan would have to be Roman Reigns.
Be Roman. Well, okay, so if it was today, it'd be Roman because John's done with wrestling. If it was 10 years ago, it'd have been Cena. Who's the backup plan today?
I don't know.
Daniel Bryan's a good answer. White Brownie says Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, he just turned heel not that long ago.
He was heel.
Because the thing about the backup plan, at least Sting as one of the backup plans, that's still a bit shocking if he had turned heel. Because he was never a heel in WCW.
Who's never been... Oh, one of the New Day.
Oh.
Adrian C. says Kofi, but yeah, Big E. It'd be Big E. It'd be Big E. Yeah. Because that's your match right there. Is like the New Day versus whoever the new NWO is. And then Big E comes out to help the New Day because he had been laid out. And then he turns on them. Trash everywhere.
Oh, my goodness. Anthony asked, create some tag teams to flesh out the women's division, names and themes for names. Some new tag teams. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez.
Oh, I was going to say...
Tag team.
Yeah, I was going to say Sonya... Okay, Sonya Deville. And... Oh, you had that one. Sonya Deville and Io Shirai.
Oh, that'd be a good team.
That's a solid team.
They'd be a good team. They'd be a real good team. Omega Advent, now that you guys finally work together with the boys as them under the Funhouse brand, what would you want a possible second collab to be? A pay-per-view review? Another gameplay video? I think it'd be fun to have at least James, if not James and Adam, on to do some sort of pay-per-view review of some sort.
That'd be fun.
Obviously James has been a wrestling fan for a good while, but I don't think Adam's opposed to pro wrestling.
I'd want to do something out of like we'd do like a vintage review of like something out of WCW in the year 2000. Something just atrocious.
Solus, with all the talk of Kyrie's run at WWE coming to an end, was the appearance of Asuka on NXT a bit of foreshadowing for Io to make a main roster debut sooner than later?
I thought that she was going to bring Io with her. That's what I thought it was going to be. I know there was that somebody on WWE.com posted a picture of Kyrie saying, like, they had the graphic for the preview graphic,
and then they took it, and
then they replaced it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of thought that because of the Io Shirai thing on NXT, I thought that she was going to bring her out. I was happy to see Kyrie, though.
Me too. Crossface Chicken Stain, top 5 unsolved mysteries of wrestling. Example, what's in the lockbox that Shane had on Vince. We never got any follow-up on that. The lockbox.
Yeah, who, wasn't there like a briefcase that somebody raised when like Stone Cold was climbing a ladder? I'm all over the map with this one.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
But right? Isn't that?
Mm-hmm.
I did, yeah, King of the Ring. That's what it was. So Jorge D here says, who threw the pie at Kevin Owens? From what I understand, he divulged that information on a podcast or an interview of some sort. Isn't there like a little kid who's interviewing wrestlers these days? Have you seen that? All right. Well, I think he was on that. And he said who it was, but I don't remember who. I didn't remember who it was. GTV. Right. There you go. Yeah, who's the SmackDown hacker?
We might find out.
Super Famous Pro said it was Vince that did the pie at Kevin Owens. If that's true, oh really? Okay. If that's true,
says the only this apparently this is from March 30th of this year. He was on the AJ Awesome show. Maybe.
That's
him. Probably the one you're talking about. And this is what Owens said. The only answer I can give people is that in the end, even if it wasn't him who physically did it, the one who ultimately threw the pie at me is Vince McMahon, because he's the one who decided that pie was going to hit me in the face. He wasn't there physically, but he's the one that made it happen. That would be your answer.
Okay. That is such a cop-out. That's funny.
At least he answered the question.
At least he answered the question.
He provided some sort of answer to the question. White Brian 92, Halloween is on a Saturday this year. Should NXT do a TakeOver Halloween Havoc? They should, but next year when Halloween's on a Sunday, because TakeOvers run on Sundays now when they're not on a pay-per-view weekend.
CM Thayer Thabata, outside of Paul Heyman, is MVP one of the best managers in the past 10 years.
Oh, he's been doing great work.
He's been doing really good work, and
Zelina, you got to put Zelina in that category
great.
too.
There's
awesome.
Some really good managers these days.
Ryan Rubik's Cube says, former MC Seminole runner here. Which is scarier in both your opinions, the dark depths of space or the dark depths of the ocean?
Space. In the ocean, you can where you're on the planet Earth, and you have the chance of resurfacing.
I'll say ocean because I don't think I'll ever really find myself ever in space. Whereas I've been out in the ocean before on a boat. Like the facing the fear of the depths of the ocean seems more, or even just being cast adrift amongst the vastness of the ocean seems a more likely scenario than me ever finding myself marooned or out in space.
Fair enough.
So for that seems more horrifying to me. It's a more likely scenario.
I'm going just from the technical standpoint of if you're in space, you're done. You're done.
Yeah.
The ocean? I saw Castaway. It might be okay.
Dave 1815. Why is the channel Steve and Larson, but on screen you sit Larson and Steve? Just worked out that way.
Yeah. There's no good answer to that one.
Nope. Draville, before he got fired, would you all be excited to see Leo Rush versus Rey Mysterio? Yes.
Yeah. I'd still love to see that. I think it'd be great.
Dang MQ. So if Rawgate Mutant was to face Hogan, would the match be a double countout since neither want to lose?
Who? Rawgate Mutant versus who?
Yeah.
Versus who?
Hogan.
Oh. We'd have to find out. I don't know. Maybe I'll run that match next week. Adrian C., given what we're seeing with the whole Ruby Liv thing, do you think we're going to end up with Liv going back to teaming up with Ruby? Yes, I do.
Yes. Dr. Lipkin, the Shield was originally going to lose a Team Cena at Survivor Series. The Shield collectively went to Vince and talked him out of it, and they all went on to the main event status. Who else is someone that could have been a main eventer if they refused to take a pin?
Is that true?
I don't know if I'm not familiar with that story.
The Shield were going to lose to Cena at Survivor Series? Did I hear that right?
Team Cena. Yeah, that's what it says here.
Good Lord.
Who else is someone that could have been a main eventer if they refused to take a pin? Wade Barrett, probably. Maybe.
Maybe. Could be. If he said, I've got some bad news for you. Oh, Team Nexus. Not the Shield, Nexus. Thomas Dunnigan. So did Vince look at the TNT Championship, which is not fully completed, and immediately thought he could just make an uglier belt in the form of the new U.S. title? Hey, say what you will, but it doesn't have a cable network logo on it.
It's true. True.
Let's see here. Mike Nichols says, is this the end of Two Fly Crew already? I would love to see a Lashley Cruz Ricochet Cedric faction.
Oh,
I'd like to see it. It's got the hallmarks. You got your main eventer, you got your mid-card guy, you got your tag team.
Mm-hmm.
Any given Monday, that's the team.
Mm-hmm.
Nemo, which combination is better, Nikki, Asuka, Bayley, and the Raw team, or the SmackDown team?
Oh, for the announced team.
SmackDown, because them trolling Michael Cole is like my favorite thing.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty darn good.
That's all I got.
That's all I got too.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Let's see really quick on the Twitch. Well, we'll do a raid, whatever. Maybe we'll do a raid, maybe we won't. Twitch chat, stick around for a couple extra minutes. Everybody else, thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.